Test. Alright. Hey everyone, my name is Raphael, and my project was the Snap Circuits Level 2, the two-way switch circuits. Alright, so the goal for this project was to create a circuit, and the circuit was to be like a representation of a staircase with two light switches that control one light. And one of the switches is at the top of the stairs, and one of the switches are at the bottom of the stairs. So basically, just one light controlled by two switches, and one, you flick them, and it switches it on and off, but both of them have equal control over it. Concept fun during this project. So, there was a basic overview. All this information is from the Learning Lecture, but the basic information are all the types of switches in Snap Circuits. So the slide switch is your basic light switch that you flick on or off. Then the button, it's exactly what it sounds like, just you hold it down. The three-way was a new one, where there's one input, and depending on which way you flick it, there's two outputs. Then there's the dimmer switch, which is, it controls the resistance that is being sent to the circuit. Then a vibration switch, and we didn't really touch on this one in this project, but essentially it is controlled by the amount of vibration that it senses. Alright. Elements of a circuit. So, in every circuit, you need to have these four things in order for it to be a complete circuit. Otherwise, it won't work. So, obviously you need an energy source, which is your power. That could be something like a switch coming from the wall, or a battery pack, or anything. You need path, which is the wire, or in this case, the snap circuit pieces, which snap to each other to carry energy. You need flow control devices, which are essentially just switches, anything that controls the power being sent through. And then you need a load, and this is what's using the power. It's generally a light bulb, or an LED, or a motor, any of those things that uses power. Types of switches. We have maintain switches. These are switches that you toggle. They have an on state and an off state, and it stays on one until you switch the switch again. These are generally the slide switches that I talked about a minute ago, the ones that you have to hit up or down, like a light switch. Then there's momentary switches, which are momentarily being pressed until you let go. And these are just regular buttons that you have to hold up. Then this one, which is a single pole double throw switch, which is basically the three-way switch with one input and two outputs. Then there's a variable resistor switch, which is just a dimmer, and it variates the resistance sent to the load. Fun aspects about this project. This project was fun because it's really simple. You don't have to be a certified electrician or anything to figure out how to use it. It was really fun to mess around with the circuit boards and see what worked and what didn't. And I already knew what I was doing, but even if I didn't, I think I would have picked it up really quickly. The snap circuits, they're really easy to use. It's obvious, like you can give this to a little kid and they figure it out, and you don't have to worry about being electrocuted or anything, since the voltage being sent through is very small. There were some challenges in the project, mainly the main challenge, which was to figure out how to wire a circuit that would model a stairway with two switches, because at first I didn't know how to go about it. This is one of the tests that they had us do, and I kind of wanted to work off of this. You can see I kind of broke it apart. But yeah, it was hard to kind of figure out where I was going with that. Eventually though, I figured it out. I found this after, but eventually I figured it out that they wanted us to use those three-way switches because they put so much focus on those, and I figured if I connect two of them to each other, I'll be able to have it so that you switch one on, and you'll turn it on or off, and the other one goes off. So essentially what's going on in this, the power's going out through this side, because this is the negative, the power always starts from the negative and goes to positive, and the path goes through the bulb, which is off, and it gets to here. And now, depending on which state this switch is, let's say it's down, it'll go through here. And if this switch is up, it won't work. The light will be off. But then, if you switch either one of them, the circuit, they'll either be both up or both down. But you only have to switch one of them, and that'll complete the circuit, and the light bulb will go on. And this is just a technical version of that I found after I finished the project. Added classroom connections. This is really useful in the real world. As you probably know, a lot of things that we use are electric and wired and have circuits behind the walls. Electricians it's a pretty good career to get into, and electrical engineering is also something that you could really get into. And it's also good to know just for yourself, like if you need to rewire a ceiling fan or a light switch or anything, it's good to know how to do it, so you don't really have to call an electrician. You still should if you don't know, but it's good to know for yourself. Even if you don't ever use it, it's nice to understand how these things work since we use them every day. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.